Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to be here. We are in week 2 of Unleashing the Female Entrepreneur Within. My name is Hannah Olivas. I am one of the CEO and founders of She Rises Studios, and I'm here with the beautiful, amazing, talented, loving superwoman, Michelle Klein from Klein Hospitality.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to be here.
We are going to talk to you today about what's love got to do with it. And when I think of that, I hear Tina Turner. Um, we kind of used this little what's love got to do with it to really grab the attention and for people to wonder, what does love have to do with being a female entrepreneur? And that's what we're going to talk about today because it has everything to do with it. So, before we dive in, I want to let you all know that we come to you live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what the topic is. And our hope is that you will gain a different perspective. You can learn some new methods, some new strategies. You will engage with what we're talking about, and that you will join our She Rises community and be a part of something so amazing, joining the Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, the movement. And we are definitely always looking for incredible women to add to our platform. And of course, last but not least, if you haven't gotten the books, you need to get the books because everything that we talk to you about, all our workshops, every single thing that we've been talking to you about has to do with becoming an unstoppable woman, becoming an unstoppable woman entrepreneur, and next is becoming an unstoppable mompreneur. So, without further ado, I'm going to let Michelle kick us off today. I love to hear her speak, and I can't wait to hear what she has to share.
Thank you, Hannah. And yes, get the books because it'll give you perspective and context, and it all ties in together and starts making sense. So, what's love had to do with it, right? So, we thought Valentine's Day yesterday, and we tend to associate Valentine's Day with a sweetheart, right? A partner or, that significant other in our life. But we forget that in order to love someone else, you have to love yourself, right? And I think that entrepreneurship has a lot to do with that because it's a very difficult journey from the start to the struggles along the way to celebrating the strides. It's a difficult journey. It's a lonely journey, and if you are not in alignment with your heart, and we talk about this a lot, with being in alignment with your passion and your purpose and loving yourself, then it makes things even harder. So some of the things that I wanted to bring to you today was, what are these little things that we can do for us, right? So for example, I don't know if there's one day out of the week where you just don't feel like cooking because it's not working out, and maybe you had a hard day, or maybe you're just tired, or you just don't feel like it. It's okay to figure out a way to delegate that. It's okay to perhaps, I don't know, come up with a way where the kids can get involved and they can do the work, or your partner can help you out, or maybe you just order out that day, or you do something super, super simple. Taking a bubble bath, that is so underrated. Locking yourself up in your bathroom and taking a bath by yourself. Quiet music, turn a candle on, light a candle. What are those things that you can find within what moves you that you can do for you? Going for a walk by yourself, having lunch by yourself. Throughout my entrepreneurship journey, I've had to be on the road many times, and I cannot tell you how much I learned to embrace dinner time just for me. And I realized that sitting at a table at a restaurant depressed me because I felt like you have to have more than one at a table, or you show up and the hostess is like, just one. Yes, just one, right? So sitting at the bar, sit at the bar, you see other people, there's other people that are there by themselves as well. You can still have a conversation with someone if you feel like it. If you don't, it's okay. So what are those little things that you can discover about yourself that will move you to love yourself, to love those moments of quiet with yourself, to get the noise of life, of social media, of work, of the family, of everything else, tune it out so that you can have those moments of peace where you can talk to yourself, talk to your soul, reconnect, right? What do you think, Hannah?
You know, I think a lot of things, but we have, and I say we from the She Rises team, have been in a transition since November of 2021. We decided to make some internal changes. We did some pluses, we did some minuses, and we were just go, 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 go. We launched 2 books within months of each other, which both became bestsellers, which is awesome. We have one of the top podcasts. We worked so hard every single day. But for the last 4 weeks, what's love got to do with it? The self-care and all that really came to fruition when I know I personally started to feel burnt out.
Mm.
I wasn't feeling that passion come alive anymore. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? What is going on? Because doing what we do on a daily is something that I wake up and I'm like, yes, let's do this. I look forward to so many amazing things and working with incredible women all the time. But I was really struggling, like to the depths of my soul, to find that passion again. And I really had to like understand, okay, what's happening here? And what it was is we weren't stopping to love ourselves, to celebrate the steps that we had taken to come this far, to take a time out and just focus on me. And just no, not even, for those of us who are married, who have kids, who have such huge responsibilities, to just kind of take a time out and say, you know what, I'm going to celebrate me today. I'm going to love me, and I'm going to fill my glass up again. And if we don't, then you're only getting a half of us. We're only putting half of our attention. We're only putting half of our heart, mind, and soul, whatever. So I was feeling imbalanced. And I finally, just within the last few days, I finally had to say, okay, girl, you need to get it together. And this is the perfect topic to talk about. And it's in alignment. Like the universe just knows, because when you and I had our little 2-second email and you said, let's talk about love. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, Valentine's Day, self-care, self-love. We all talk about it all the time, but do we actually do it? And I was talking with Adriana, who is the other co-founder, and we discussed this very thing yesterday, the importance. And I told her, you need to go and love yourself by yourself alone somewhere, so that when you come back, you're an even better version of yourself. You're feeling healthy, you're feeling balanced. And I go, and you know what? I think I need to do that too.
I was going to say that. I didn't want to interrupt, but how many times do we speak to a friend or to a family member, and that's exactly what we recommend? And then if you don't stop for a minute and become aware of what you're recommending, you don't realize that you need the same medicine.
And huge doses of it. It's important, because if we do not replenish what we've taken out, we're not going to be successful in our businesses, because we're imbalanced. We're out of alignment. We're not in tune with what's happening. And we also are not able to serve in the magnitude that we want to. So it's like one of those things where I told her, we got to practice what we preach. Like I asked her, do you believe the things that we share? with our audience? And she was like, well, of course I do. And I said, are we utilizing what we share? Are we dipping into our She Rises tribe when we're feeling down or when we're feeling overwhelmed? And there were crickets for a second between the two of us, because now we're having to like really think like, wow, okay. So my biggest takeaway with this topic so far is just building yourself up, taking that time, doing that self-care. I almost I know it has to be a daily routine. It has to be a part of your every single day, whether it's before you start your day or at the end of your day. But whatever it is, however that looks for you in your schedule, it has to be a daily thing so that you can continue to thrive in your business and thrive with others. So that's kind of my little.
On the chapter that I wrote in the book, Becoming an Unstoppable Woman Entrepreneur, that's one of the tools that I share with our readers, because I explain, you wouldn't drive a vehicle if it had no gas in the tank, would you? Because it's not going to take you anywhere. Like at some point, it'll just drop you wherever you are. It's the same for us. And I think that, we learn through experience. I operate in the hospitality industry, and it's an industry where the service industry is burnout. So the burnout factor is very, very real in our industry. And I think that throughout the years, I was able to learn that if I don't stop and learn how to read those signs, because getting to the moment when you are on that burnout factor, guess what? There's going to be many ways that the universe, God, whoever it is, that force, grander force that you believe in, it's going to throw something at you, and you're going to be like, whoa, okay, I get it now. It was time for me to slow down, right? So learning what those signs look like when you're getting close to the burnout factor, or like Hannah, like you're saying, create a routine that will prevent the burnout factor altogether, where you stop for gas every Sunday night before the week starts. Well, it's the same thing for you. And maybe it's going to the gym every morning. Maybe it's going for a run when you get back from work. Maybe it's, I don't know, lighting up a candle, pouring a glass of wine, and cooking. Maybe that's your thing, right? But whatever that is, we have to start discovering those things, because we serve no good to anyone around us, whether it is our family, our business, our vendors, our clients, or customers, if we are not whole. And I know that I don't know how much we can say, Hannah, but in some of the books that we have coming up, we are going to deep dive into this subject in particular, because it's so, so important. Self-care is not selfish, right? I read that the other day. Self-care is not selfish, and it's so true. How many times, especially when you have little kids, you feel like, oh, I have to be at home. Well, but if you don't take at least 30 minutes to go for a walk or to sit in the sun, you're not going to be able to be there for your kids in your best way. So self-care is not selfish. I like that.
It isn't. It's funny, I went to church on Sunday with my husband, and this again has to do with alignment. He basically used this analogy. You talk about driving in our car, not stopping for gas, right? And his analogy was, you can't take a sticker and slap it over the fixed engine light and continue to keep going, because eventually the car is going to break down. Totally. So you have to really address the issue. And you're right. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. And a lot of us, especially moms, we're like, oh, but our kids, we feel guilty because we don't want to step away. Or if we're married, we're like, oh, but my husband needs me, or my kids need me, or my grandkids. Like, those are things that go through my mind, is like, okay, if I leave, like I even made a joke today to my husband. I go, so I'm leaving because today's his birthday. I said, I'm leaving for a couple of hours, and you're in charge of Dad and Sophia. And he laughed at me. And then I was like, Yeah, that does sound kind of stupid. Like I want to control and help and fix, but really I don't even need to. I need to go do what I want to do and enjoy the process of what I'm doing and take that little 2-hour time out without feeling guilty. And so this message is powerful in so many ways because we do wear many hats: entrepreneur, mom, wife, grandma, sister, aunt, best friend, whatever it is. And a lot of times we just don't do for us. So my challenge to everyone who watches the replay, who's watching now, is make a specific routine that involves a huge amount of self-care for you, because your mental health, your emotional health, and physical health is important, and it goes with your self-care. And even when you and I were discussing the schedule of the lives that we're doing, you said, I promised myself to stick within my exercise goal, and
Yeah.
I'm not willing to move it. And that is huge. That's you.
And even though it was super exciting what you were
Yep.
proposing, I knew that if I took a step away from that routine, I was going to fail myself. And I promised myself that the best way for me to perform for others and be there for others was by sticking to this routine, because I've started the routine and it works out great for me. So, and I appreciated the fact that you got it,
Oh,
you
I got
understood
it.
it and you embraced it and you were like, yeah, good for you.
Yep.
So here's the other thing, Hannah. What about the things that others around us do that perhaps go against our mental health, or perhaps go against our physical health, or things that drive us to the edge? What about us learning what those things look, what are those triggers, right?
Mhm.
And then how to best communicate those triggers with the people around us, so that we can start eliminating those things of our life. And I think that's part of self-love too, being able to communicate with other people what, not just your needs, but like, you did this and this is bothering me. Like, for me, it's the simplest thing as my house not being organized. And I have 3 children, and the 3 of them are boys. And then I have a husband, and it's all boys. And they don't see the hockey sticks or the skates or the skateboards or the tennis rackets and the balls and balls and balls and balls everywhere. It's like, you guys don't see this, but you're hurting my brain. So to me, it has been part of my development, and part of learning that this is part of loving myself, to be able to communicate, guys, you need to pick up, you need to help out. So I think those things too, how to recognize what are the triggers around us that will take us to that state of mind that does not allow us to love ourselves.
You must have been sitting at my breakfast table this morning
Yeah, it's been an
because
interesting 2 weeks, 2 days, let me tell you that.
I said
It's,
to
it's
my
real,
husband,
ladies.
today, I put some boundaries for today, and I spoke up on something that was like, just, it had to come out. And so when you're talking about like what triggers you, if you just let it fester,
Oof.
it's going to come out in the worst way possible instead of how you mean it to be. So part of self-care is absolutely 100% communicating what triggers you, what bothers you, setting those personal boundaries and honoring them.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
it's
there
putting
is,
letting it fester is putting that sticker over the
yep,
check engine light. You put a
yep,
sticker over it, and then you let it fester, you put another sticker over it. Yeah, absolutely.
you can't, there's two things. Number one, you can't please everyone or everything. And number two, if you keep inside the things that trigger you, it's just going to be a huge explosion like a volcano. So you have to address it with honesty. And if there's people or things that just suck the life out of you, this is my new thing. It's time to snip snip. I don't want to be anywhere where I'm tolerated instead of celebrated. I don't want to deal with negativity, drama, backbiting. I don't want to deal with things that make me feel unappreciated or hurt
Do you
my
know how I call that, Hannah? Your matter of fact friend here? Lack of emotional intelligence. And I think we should hit on that one of these days.
Definitely.
All the people that have all of that, the drama, the criticizing others, being harder than they really have to be, or choosing the wrong words, lack of emotional intelligence.
And that's huge because we deal with that even as entrepreneurs. It's a real thing. So we just it really boils back down to loving yourself, setting boundaries for what you accept for yourself, taking care of you. Because before we can take care of anything else, anyone else, any situation, we have to take care of ourselves. And that was told to me yesterday. All I want for you to do is to take care of you, focus on you. And in my head, it didn't really click until later on when I kept replaying the words and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do that. I can do that. And so I went and grabbed my journal because I'm an avid journaler. Like I write everything. And then it helps me to kind of put into perspective what's up here to the paper. And then it makes me laugh because I'm like, wow, I really wrote that. But that's also a part of self-love and self-care, is really just writing what you're feeling and what you're dealing with. And then you can go back and try to kind of say, okay, how do I fix this? How do I address this? Or if it's someone else, that's kind of killing your vibe, as we say, then we know kind of how to work through that. But all of that is a part of self-love, self-care. What we eat, what we listen to, what we watch, what we breathe, like it all matters. And that's really why I always go back to this. Becoming that unstoppable woman is balance. It's self-love, self-care. It's all of that. And it's a never-ending process.
Yeah.
We will never be perfect, but we can make progress over the perfection. And progress is loving yourself, doing that self-care. And like you say, self-care is not selfish. So let's get in the habit of it. Let's celebrate each other, ourselves.
I love it. So let's do more of that, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is watching. Let's do more of that. We all need it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us today. It was another incredible, amazing topic. We have so much more in store. Join us again on Thursday at 8:30 in the She Rises Community Facebook group. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube on our She Rises community page there. And of course, please check out our books. They are on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target. You can find them anywhere that you want to find these books. They're at your service. And we have just so many things to look forward to in our self-care journey, in our entrepreneur journey. Life is short. So let's do the best that we can with what we have, love one another, love ourselves, and just be happy. Just be happy. Enjoy the process. Embrace the process. Trust the journey. And tune in live Thursday with us at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time right here. And don't forget to check out Klein Hospitality. Michelle is a pretty awesome woman, and I grow to love her more and more every day. And just join our tribe. Be a part of this movement. Get involved. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for being here.